truth set you free.
Helping young leaders learn the best practices to fight corruption, to promote good governance, to take on the threat of authoritarianism that's really spreading all over the region and the world.
Folks, we really want to pretend these things are normal.
Meanwhile,
the president's mother worked for what is now acknowledged to be a CIA front organization, and his biological father was attending school here in America under the aegis of another now acknowledged CIA front organization. So it looks like we've got a family well hooked up with the American intelligence network.
And so the East-West Center was critical for training people who became social scientists, educators, political leaders, media persons.
Obama was also instrumental in shutting down Bernie Sanders' bid for president. So to 2 times he comes back into public life. One is to crush a strike, and the second one is to make sure the progressive gets screwed and we get a warmongering corporatist service to Wall Street as our president.
They act like they're the concierge service, kind of. Call this organization, they might be able to help you. Call this organization, they might be able to help you. But that's it. They even, as far as financially, said that we can apply for a loan, but we're not thinking about borrowing money from, we don't know how we're even going to pay back if we take a loan. So we're scared to even take a loan right now.
Sure.
And I feel that it's unfortunate that, the government is letting us borrow our taxes back within and we have to pay it back with interest. It's, at least let us borrow money and then we can pay it back, but, we shouldn't be paying interest on it.
Yeah.
There was a policeman, and I got to the end and I looked up north. There were no obstructions. There was no reason to keep those cars there.
Are you serious?
I'm serious as a heart attack. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm under orders to keep them here. And I said, the fire is right around Safeway. It's going to hit Front Street, and these people got to get out of here. And he said, I'm following orders.
No way.
I have 2 words for you. Predator drones. You will never see it coming.
The East-West Center was part of the human infrastructure that rebuilt Asia.
One of the major accomplishments really is today the 68,000 alumni, 53 chapters around the globe who have been change makers in their communities.
Being questioned by, the country thought they were reporters, but they were FEMA staffers posing as reporters. Homeland Security Chief Michael Chertoff called the stage news briefing, quote, one of the dumbest and most inappropriate things I've seen.
Tuesday, FEMA's deputy administrator held what was called a news briefing to talk about the California wildfires. And from what we understand, the questions were posed not by reporters, but by staffers, and that distinction was not made known. Is that appropriate?
It is not. It is not a practice that we would employ here at the White House. We certainly don't condone it. We didn't know about it beforehand. FEMA has issued an apology saying that they had an error in judgment. It's not something I would have condoned, and I'm sure will not do it again.
We're using a law I got passed the first day in office, first month in office, called the American Rescue Plan, to help states and cities promote energy efficiency, reduce flooding, and open cooling centers. We're delivering over $20 billion from the bipartisan infrastructure law to upgrade the electric grid to withstand stronger storms and heat waves so we don't cause more fires.
Better, stronger, faster.
I'm directing him to make sure the community has everything.
Just a bunch of deal makers. No visionaries. No one really concerned with the disenfranchised. Just the secret state business liaisons out of control.
When Milton Friedman turned 90, the Bush White House held a birthday party for him. And everyone made speeches, including George Bush. But there was a really good speech that was given by Donald Rumsfeld. My favorite quote in that speech from Rumsfeld is this. He said, "Milton is the embodiment of the truth that ideas have consequences."
FEMA booked themselves into 5-star luxury Hawaiian resorts. They're shacking up at the Maui Four Seasons, beachfront, of course. Rooms there are $1,000 a night. It's not just the Four Seasons. FEMA agents are also posting up at the Fairmont Key Lani in Maui, where rooms range there from $1,300 to $4,500 a night. FEMA agents are also crashing at the Grand Wailea Astoria, 5 stars of course. Are these the hotels Biden's FEMA officials should be staying in, gallivanting around in and drinking in, as search and rescue operations are underway with 500 kids still missing?
Nearly 3 weeks since the deadly wildfire, some information has emerged that wasn't initially highlighted. The Associated Press writing an article with the headline, "Many had no warning and no way out. Those who dodged a barricade survived." The AP reports that car after car was turned back to the rapidly spreading wildfire by a barricade blocking access to the highway to get out of Lahaina town. This week, Maui's police chief explaining why barricades were set up.
Down power lines, which would kill you if you go over it. Or it's a fire that's engulfed the area. So there was a point when we didn't let traffic into Front Street because Front Street was on fire.
Okay, so I just kept walking and I got all the way to, like I said, the Civic Center, and then I started hearing all the explosions, and there was no one walking behind me or on bicycles or anything.
But we got people, we did not impede people from exiting the area.
Or to make it open spaces in perpetuity as a memorial.
So I actually went to Walmart and Costco and
You got pillows?
Shampoo.
Oh, wow.
Diapers,
That's great.
sheets.
Our world is the most incredible place. We have a moral obligation to look after our planet. We have a moral obligation to look after one another. It is not our planet to destroy, to exploit.
Lolo Soetoro was a major in the Indonesian army and a contractor with the CIA. What Daddy did was run death squads for the Indonesian government. He was an executive vice president for Standard Oil, and when he decided to set up his own company in Indonesia, where possibly the world's largest oil reserves are located, I imagine he used his position of having an active death squad at his proposal.
You know, you'll have to ask them about why they decided to do that.
Will anybody be reprimanded?
You'll have to ask FEMA.
Look, last year I signed the Inflation Reduction Act, the most significant climate investment ever anywhere in the world. Meanwhile, FEMA has been on the ground responding to those unprecedented weather emergencies in real time.
It's not really what people need.
It comes as Maui County is suing HICO for allegedly causing the fires by not shutting off power ahead of time due to high winds and dry brush.
I am testifying on my concerns of the governor's emergency proclamation that happened 3 weeks prior to the fire, and how it suspended 7 state statutes, of which exonerated everything that you guys are in charge of. Covers county organization administration. Chapter 46, collective bargaining was rescinded. School impact fees, collective bargaining was rescinded. And To my knowledge, this was the first emergency proclamation in the country that didn't have a preceding incident. Normally it's like a hurricane, boom, we got an emergency proclamation. But this was just, from my knowledge, was just to streamline development on Maui, and it is allocated all decision-making power to one person, the housing officer of the governor, Nani Medeiros, who's unelected, who can trump every single thing that you do and everything that you say and every item that we cover without any input from the community, without any public discourse, without Sunshine Law.
And so, for a long period up into the mid-1850s, Hawaii was seen as, again, the main capital. During that period of growth, especially economic growth, there was a huge transformation where agriculture.
Familiar with what it looked like growing up here on Maui, especially with my mom working at one of the restaurants there, the Pioneer Inn.
And actually even Ukrainian candy. So,
wow, Ukrainian candy! Yeah. Wow, that's I love candy. So this year, I know that last year was the first year, and so this is going to be. So tell us how it's going to be different for those who did enjoy last year.
Okay, so it's been bigger and better.
Guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway, this woman helped me get an awful lot done. Anyway.
Hawaii Electric, Hawaii Power announced today that they cut power to the lines 6 hours. Their stock is on a freaking tear. The reason the stock was on a tear is that they think the liabilities are going away. They cut the power in Maui 6 hours before the fire. This Maui thing, I'm telling you, there's something not right. There's something not right. For 3 weeks, and here's the thing. They knew, and authorities knew they cut the power 3 weeks ago. So why are we just hearing it today?
H&N Investigates has learned Mayor Bisson was not involved in Maui County's decision to sue HICO, and that's because his daughter, Sable Bisson, works for HICO on Maui.
The mayor and his administration now won't answer any more questions about HICO.
The mayor actually did not make that decision. He was conflicted out.
On Tuesday, after more dodged questions,
I'm not sure who was in charge.
Yeah, we talked about at the conference overall. It wasn't confrontational at all. You came up with
Thank you, everybody. This ends the press conference. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. I remain laser focused on recovering and rebuilding efforts in Maui. We were out there, and many of you were there as well. It's devastating what happened.
Our studies indicate that this type of weapon is totally useless in warfare.
Well, it's not intended for use in your kind of warfare, Roy. It's a perfect peacetime weapon. That's why it's secret.
So it's both immoral and unethical.
Yes.